on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate it. It helps me support the channel. This is the yearly predictive forecast for the sign of Cancer for the year of 2021. So this is for anybody with a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Cancer or heavily placed planets. I would consider heavily placed planets 3 or more planets in the sign of Cancer. If you have that going on in your chart, then you might want to watch this video to get an idea of whether or not 2021 is going to work in your favor or not. Lord knows, after 2020, for all of us, a little insight can always be, helpful. So this is intended for sun, moon, or rising or heavily placed planets. Therefore, it's a broad spectrum reading for a multitude of people that may be watching. So some things may make sense and some may not. If things don't make sense, that's completely fine. It might mean that other planets are having a bigger effect on your life, or it could be the houses that your planets were in when you were born. There could be a lot of mitigating factors as to why things wouldn't make sense. But don't worry, it doesn't mean that anything's wrong or bad or off. It just might be that you need a different reading or a different sign or whatever. If things do make sense and you do enjoy the reading, please hit the thumbs up button. But also, if you choose to make any personal decisions after having watched any of my videos, please know that those personal decisions in your life would be your own responsibility. Always sort of use your highest intelligence and intuition when making your decisions, and never take anything that I say over the advice or suggestions of a professional in their field, i.e. like a lawyer, a doctor, or therapist, okay? I just say that just for everybody's safety and security, because you never know who could be watching. People could be thinking, whatever I say should trump whatever they feel, and that's not true. Okay, you want to use whatever I say in this thing as a guide or, as validation or support for what you already know. And just to give you a little insight, another thing I will say, especially with these yearly predictive forecasts, they're always open for change. There is free will and we have choice. Whatever we choose in any given moment can greatly affect outcomes. Therefore, as we get further into the months, the option for cards to change on you or perspectives to become different greatly increases, okay? So nothing I say here, even though it is for an entire year of prediction, is set in stone, okay? So I hope that all makes sense for you guys. I love your sweet, nurturing Cancerian selves. You guys are the sweet lovers of the zodiac. I mean, everybody's a sweet lover, but Cancer is especially nurturing, so let's shout that out. You guys can be sensitive and doting and all of those wonderful things associated with sort of the moon and mothering. So I wouldn't want any of you sweet Cancers to be thinking that if anything, looks unpleasant, that you're destined to that. You always have the power, Cancer, to sort of change your surroundings, your outcomes, all of that stuff. So let's see what you guys are up to this year. Okay. All right, so each card is also going to represent for an entire month. So it's going to be broad spectrum. Keep that in mind. One card defining your entire month is just going to be an overall theme of what you might be experiencing throughout that month. Each month, as we progress through the year, I will be doing monthly forecasts for each sign that are a little bit, hopefully, more descriptive. All right, so we're kicking off with the Knave of Wands. We've been seeing this card quite a bit in the first few that I've done so far. You guys are the fourth reading. I think this card has shown up in 3 out of the 4. So the Knaves are always about learning, experience. Wands is always about sort of spirit, desire, taking action, right? We look at the Knave of Wands. To me, the way that I feel with this card, I don't feel he's quite as playful as in the last reading. I believe it was Gemini that had this. He felt much more playful. To me, this feels like he's building something in the desert. I don't know. I mean, obviously the desert is there. We see the pyramids. And the pyramids make me think of sort of more spiritual, higher knowledge that's guiding us from the background. So we might be listening. And also with Cancerian being a water sign, or Cancer being a water sign, we have a tendency to be more towards the emotions, more towards the spirit. But what's really drawing my attention in this card today, in this reading in particular, is this cloud cover. It sort of feels like it's going right down into his knowing. It feels like a connection to spirit. It feels like a connection to maybe our higher selves. Whatever that is, it also ties into these pyramids that I see back here, which kind of represent sort of ancient wisdom, that sort of a thing. When I look at this card in this reading, it feels like in January, Cancer is working on building something out of nothing. I love that this knave is placing this wand in the desert. That's the nothing, the desert. The wand is sort of something that's highly desirable to Cancer that you guys are trying to hopefully build, create, bear fruit. You're learning how to do it with this knave energy, but the desire is strong within you with the wands, right? So it's January will be about setting out maybe a plan, taking action. The desire, like I said, will be strong, and we'll be sort of trying to build something in an area where maybe things have been dead or not quite really fruitful. To me, it looks like Cancer goes into it with optimism, hope, and willing to learn, all right? There's an openness to this. And I feel like also the way that this cat is positioned, he's facing more towards the future. So whatever we're building now in January might, you know, be a little bit more long-term, if that makes sense. So keeping that in mind, being patient with not only the situation that we might be dealing with and what we're trying to create, but also with ourselves as we try and learn through the process. This, I feel like this will be, like, when I saw this in Gemini's reading, this cat felt far more playful. This cat to me feels like it's a learning experience. Like it's about knowledge, it's about the gaining and wisdom and knowledge of having done sort of the steps or taken the initiative to put in the energy to build whatever this is that we want, you know, and you have to choose what that thing is, right? Whatever it is that you're going after, that you're desiring in January, this is your opportunity to kind of put your best foot forward, give it a little elbow grease, make it happen, tap into the higher knowledge, learn from said higher knowledge and whatever it is that you're doing, what steps you're taking to build this thing and make it happen. Like, so I'm just using this as an example, but if one of you is out there and wants a partner or a significant other that really feeds you and makes you feel connected, then this is the month to start to kind of put that into action, to start to build that. Even if you don't feel as though you fully know how, listen to your higher learning, listen to your higher knowledge, and begin to build the space for that to come into your actual physical reality. Does that make sense? All right, so the next card is for February. Let's see what we've got going on here. So this is the Four of Swords. So we've got swords, we've got wands energy and swords energy. Both are not really our home energy, they're not a natural element, and they're not necessarily complementary, but I think that there's something that we're learning here. So the work that's going on here and the higher knowledge that we're listening to, I feel like January might be a busy month, right? In the sense that we're looking to higher goals, we're looking to higher desires, we're trying to create something out of nothing. And I mean that in a good way, right? We're trying to like build oasis in the desert is the feeling that I get with this cat. We're listening to our higher self. With the Four of Swords is always about taking time, taking respite, finding a little bit of balance, especially in our mental space, giving ourselves that moment to withdraw. So February might be a moment where we pull back, and that's okay. It's also, you know, the beginning of Pisces season, so it gets a little bit more emotional around then. Cancer's definitely going to pick up on that in late February or like mid to late February. That's when that starts to kick off. I would say that what this is about kind of getting our thoughts and our minds in order, kind of getting ourselves to a really rested place. I have a feeling, my gut is telling me, and I don't know yet because I haven't seen the cards, but I feel like maybe there's something brewing or coming from this Knave of Wands, and Cancer needs to take February to kind of relax, withdraw. Not like completely, but enough that like we can get our thoughts straight, our perspectives clear, feel balanced, and feel ready to kind of carry out the rest of the year. Does that make sense? Not letting in a lot of other people's opinions of maybe who they think we are or what they think we should be doing, listening only to ourselves and kind of really keeping that focus. I also feel that focus is in that Knave of Wands with that cloud cover. That's like listening to maybe our higher selves or our own spiritual information. So keeping in that kind of vein through February, we want to also rest our mind, create stability and clarity, right? Through this kind of what's the word? I don't know if it's solace is the right word, but it's, I don't want you guys to go into withdrawal where you separate from everybody, but I want you guys to withdraw within yourself into a safe space where you feel like you can rest and kind of clear your mind. That's sort of the vibe that I'm getting here. All right, so March, let's look at March. So March is the Knight of Swords. So from that rest that we see in the Four of Swords, we're ready to take action again, right, in March. And we're ready to take really strong action. The Knight of Swords can sometimes be a little bit, get ahead of himself or be impulsive. But knights to me always are in servitude. They're always doing the right things for the right reasons. They're always sort of like being adult or mature in matters. They're trying to make things happen, make forward motion. To me, the Knight of Swords is a fairly quick moving energy. I love this owl because it is white and pure. I also love that it's an owl which represents knowledge. It feels swift to me, so I feel like strides will be taken in March. I'm sorry. That might be why the rest period in February will serve us, because the activity will ramp up in March, and we will need to be sort of not on our toes, but I kind of feel like that cat riding that cat riding on that owl is seriously directing that owl as to which way he needs to go, and that owl is moving quickly, like with some serious momentum. So whatever, I kind of feel like whatever we put into possibility in January, we really start to, you know, shuttle towards in March. Okay, now let's look at April. So April is the Hermit. This is Virgo energy, which is complementary to the sign of Cancer. It is Earth energy. It's also major arcana. So I believe April will be a significant month for the Cancerians. Let me just put that in there. The feather's not letting it go in. All right, so it's this funny, like, come outward, do some shit, and then pull back and go inward. Because it's like that Four of Swords, I almost said this earlier, but it's similar. Like the Four of Swords is kind of like the Hermit light. You know, it's like kind of going inward, getting clarity, taking a rest, that sort of thing. Hermit is about kind of going deep, finding out about ourselves through work with our subconscious, through our shadow self, through our fears, through our worries, through our anxieties. It can sometimes be a little bit of a slog. It can sometimes be hard, like learned lessons, but they're all like internal within us, right? And so I kind of feel like there's an up and down going on in these first 4 months. We have an up here leading into sort of what we would consider downtime, then going back up and then going back down again. But when we go back down into April, we're going deep within ourselves to kind of find those answers from within. These answers might pertain to whatever situation has got our focus for the last few months. If it's a, you know, whatever that may be, if it's, you know, it can be about jobs, it can be about relationships, it can be about our home life, whatever we're focused on, Cancer, we're going to be sort of trying to find those answers in the beginning parts of this year, it looks like. And I think that by April, with the Hermit there, I like that it's the Hermit because it feels like significant knowledge will come to you through deep introspection, right? Through doing the harder work, through taking the like road less traveled, so to speak. You're going to be able to glean those answers and find that firm understanding and foundation that you need so that you can move forward even more productively leading into the later part of the year. And I'm just sort of predicting that without seeing the cards, but I kind of feel like there's a theme here. The Four of Swords is like a small rest that we take. The Hermit is like the deeper dive that we take following that, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like an off-on sort of 4 months. Now, the next card for, we're at May now, is the Six of Pentacles. So I like this card. This card is about sort of, to me, coming together, having exactly what we need or just enough, maybe just slightly more so that we can share it with others, showing appreciation to one another, both either from outside of our others, outside of ourselves, showing us appreciation, or we get to show that appreciation to those that we love. So I love this as your May card. Wherever you've been hermiting away, maybe you've been in a Cancer mood, and that's okay. Cancer's allowed to. You guys do have mood swings. There's nothing wrong with that. That Hermit energy might be withdrawing and getting away from people because they're just, you know, driving you nuts. And finding those answers within for the time that you spend alone in April is going to let you come out in May, more in the springtime, with all of these flowers, all of those cats. There's like a party happening. So to me, it feels like things come back into balance. Anything that feels slightly out of whack is back to normal for you. Things might be less emotional for you because the Pentacles energy is also complementary, but it's also Earth, which will ground you, I feel like, emotionally, which will be a good thing. I also think that the Six of Pentacles could represent some of the monetary stuff that we see in that Knave of Wands. So if any of you started off January working towards a monetary goal, you might see the payoff of that monetary goal in, say, May. So keep an eye out for that. It may not be the hugest or biggest of payoffs, but it will feel like adequate or sufficient, and even enough that you can even share it with those that you care about. That's kind of the vibe of the Six of Pentacles. All right, so, and for some of you, this might be, you know, who knows, maybe a reintegration back into your social life could happen in this month of May. Because there is sort of a solitary feeling that I get in the first four cards, right? That even the cat that's riding on that owl, he's sort of by himself. You know, he's the one steering the show and making the decisions. The Four of Swords is definitely about being alone. The Hermit is definitely about being alone. And even that Knave of Wands, he feels like he's working on something back in January on his own, right? So the first sort of social interaction, or maybe coming into reconnection with those that we love and care about, it may take place in May. So look for that, or if you find yourself in social situations, enjoy them. Certainly, definitely enjoy them. This should be a card to be enjoyed. So the next card is June. Let's see what's going on in June. And I think we're getting into your guys' season at this point. Love it. So we have the Two of Cups. Very much Cancerian energy. I love that we have this moon here, which also makes me think of the sign of Cancer. Two of Cups can indicate some sort of a romance, potentially. It can also represent the deepening of a relationship, either with ourselves or with others. I always look at twos in that form, like the energy of a two brings about sort of a better understanding or a deeper understanding and appreciation of ourselves, maybe at a higher level or more spiritual level, more emotional level, or maybe with a significant other or a friend even. It doesn't have to be romantic. Let me just look. I don't feel like this is a romance reading, just looking at the previous months. The only thing that could kind of be romancy is maybe that Page of Wands, but I feel like that's more about building something out of nothing. So if any of you are in the beginning of the year looking for love and you're like pining over it or dreaming about it, daydreaming, wishing, you could receive it potentially, or it could begin to show up in that Six of Pentacles, and then even further more so in that Two of Cups. So we're talking May, June might be the time where somebody may arrive. You might meet them socially in May and then really understand that you're kind of liking them by June. That's for those of you seeking love. But I also think that this Two of Cups can be about sort of becoming more emotionally centered, more emotionally stable. I'm not saying that Cancers are unstable, just feeling more content, vibing with one's own self and the emotions of those around us. This could also be, I'm getting this sort of hit that this could be about, you know, instead of being in larger groups, maybe spending time with significant people in our lives on a one-on-one basis in the month of June, like quality time with, say, a singular family member or a singular partner or a singular good friend, and appreciating them in that way. And I also feel like this being the Two of Cups, it kind of rejuvenates you in some way. Because not only are you able to appreciate them on a one-on-one, but they're also able to appreciate and see you back, Cancer. And I think that's really important for you guys. There's sort of like, I almost want to say, like, in the first 4 months with the up and down nature of those cards, right, where it's off, on, like hard work put in and then rest and then hard work put in, and then it's sort of like the Hermit is rest. But when I look at that Hermit card, I see all of those tattered, these tattered cloths around him, and it makes me feel like, oh shit, Cancer, you've got to do some work in this month. You know, like this cat is not like, he's worked hard to get the knowledge that he has, and it will be, the Hermit being major arcana, it will be significant knowledge, right? But I even feel like there might be, I don't want to say a strain, but it kind of feels like that cat like came back from the depths, right? So if you find yourself doing some deep emotional work, or, you know, gaining a better understanding of yourself or your situation, your life, whatever it is you're looking at in April, don't be surprised if by June, all of that begins to settle and feel like bountiful again, or what's the word? Like, it's not bountiful. It's kind of like connected would be a better word, I think, with this Two of Cups is sort of the vibe that I'm getting. Like, we're feeling first we connect to our outside relations through that Six of Pentacles in appreciation, and they maybe give us that appreciation back, and then it deepens in June with this Two of Cups energy that comes in, where we can, and for some of you, like I said, it could potentially be a love thing. So let's go to July, which now we will be full bore in swing for Cancer season. Get it, Cancer? Ace of Wands. So aces are always new beginnings and kind of exciting energy for sure. I love how this tree is built, like all the red wand energy in the tree. There's excitement, and there's also new growth on these tree leaves. There's something where, and this is similar to what I was seeing in this Knave of Wands, where he's building out of the desert. He's planting that wand. To me, this dead tree would be mimicking that desert, and then all of this new growth, which actually this cat is now living in or surveying the world from, is present, right? So to me, this is like the further build of whatever is back here. Does that make sense? Are you seeing, I hope you're understanding that. I'm asking you if that makes sense. You're probably gonna watch this like months later. But anyways, I feel like whatever we were working on in January, we're going to understand the work that we put in and why by July. We'll feel very accomplished. The focus will be on ourselves, this being an optimism will be high, the excitement will be high, the opportunities will be around us. We will have built something out of nothing. Does that make sense? If that is a romantic relationship, we're seeing that in the reflected in the Two of Cups the month prior. We're really relishing that in this Ace of Wands energy by July. For some of you, if that Two of Cups is a significant other, you know, the Ace of Wands can represent sort of the passion behind that, right? So if for some of you this is a love journey, I do kind of see where that could come in during these months. So if you were back in January thinking, oh, it'd be really nice to be loved up and have a partner that appreciates me, do the work, keep working at it, stay with it kind of thing. Go deep, and then in April, and then start to go more extroverted in like May, and get yourself out there, Cancer, because you might just meet somebody and it might actually like pop off and be kind of connected and passionate in June, July, which would be your season. So certainly you would be attracting a lot during that time. For those of you that aren't looking for love, this is the time where you would be attracting just good blessings, good tidings, deepening of emotions, and the passion that comes with the Ace of Wands, the enthusiasm, the excitement of the newness of everything that you've built. And I kind of just feel like I'm looking at this orange cat, and I feel like he's sitting in this tree going, yeah, and like I did this, I worked hard for this, and I can finally sit back and kind of enjoy it and appreciate it, and almost like even maybe pat myself on the back for having done this and put in the work and the time, because look at what I've created out of nothing. So that's a beautiful thing right there. All right, let's go to July. August would be the next month. Ooh, okay, we have the Two of Wands. So this could be a little love situation happening over the summer, early summer to midsummer. Two of Wands can also be about sort of like what we want, what we desire, and the creation of that desire. When I look at him, he looks like he's looking out into the horizon, sort of, okay, what do I want? How? Well, he's probably not saying, okay, he's a cat, but I would say, okay. He's saying like, he's dreaming, right? He's sort of dreaming similar to what this Knave of Wands is doing back in January, where I feel like the Knave is taking more action, but the Two is more, maybe more thought or desire being shot out and creation being made. I also feel like I like that we have two twos so close to one another. I feel like there is a deepening of our relationship to the self, especially with that Hermit and the Four of Swords. So this year might be about really getting into who you are, what you desire, what you deserve, and being okay with that, really owning that from a very deep place and appreciating that and finding that appreciation within yourself and within others. The Two of Wands could be about that spiritual connection coming through for you and a significant other, where you guys do feel passionate towards each other. You do feel like an appreciation. You do feel like there's certainly like a kind of a fire-water balance happening here, and hopefully an opportunity for you guys, if this is like a romance for some of you, for you guys to feel appreciated and seen, and vice versa, your partner doing the same, right? So, and if it's not like love related, like say you're a Cancerian that's not looking for love, I would say that this is about feeling in line and content or in synchronicity with your desires and what you want, getting further clear, better understanding of what you want and how to go about getting it, like looking to the horizon, looking to the out into the future and saying, okay, what do I want next? How do I want it? Because we're coming in off of that Ace of Wands energy of like feeling fulfilled, passionate, excited, and aware of the opportunities that are around us. So now how do we call in those opportunities, cash in on them, exploit them? And I mean exploit in a good way, because they're opportunities. But that's what this Two of Wands energy to me is about, is the opportunity to do that and bring it in. All right, so the next card is September. Okay, get it. 10 of Pentacles. So this is about abundance for everybody, enjoyment. This is a blessed card. This is kind of like all, you know, overflow of potentially cash, feeling financially abundant, feeling well taken care of, being able to take care of those that we love on a much larger scale, even than that Six of Pentacles that we see. So there could be financial windfalls, promotions, blessings of all sorts coming to you, and also being able to share those blessings out with those around us within our environment, really seeing that and having that mirrored back to us through our environment. Let me see here. I'm just kind of looking at, I kind of feel like September will be the month where you'll understand exactly why everything played out the way that it did this year, or maybe even I mean 2021, right? But in the months previous, but also maybe in 2020, right? To me, this 10 of Pentacles feels like, oh, okay, I understand why I did all of that. It's all worth it at this point. Does that make sense? And for some of you, I'll say this, and I don't know if this is for all of you, but I'm going to throw this out there. Some of you, this could be a serious like encounter with some sort of intense love. And here is sort of the understanding of not only do we get love, but we also get this sort of financial, sort of material abundance coming with that. Because the vibe here is so strong and so good. Even back here, the Six of Pentacles is good too. Like, to me, I feel like this chunk of the year between, we're talking May to August, is sort of so positive that we create this 10 of Pentacles, this abundance. We feel wealthy, or you know, we don't have need for anything. We don't have want or desire for anything. All of our needs are being met. We're more than happy. We're more than content. We're even able to see that those around us that we care about are content. So I feel like we're going to be able to reflect back in September onto the year and understand oh, this is why everything played out the way that it did. Like, this is the why I went through all of that work in the first, few months or all of 2020 or whatever. All right, so let's go to October. Oh shit. So October is the Tower. Tower is Mars energy, I believe, Aries, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But Tower is usually, let's just talk about this for a minute. Tower is like a card that we don't want to see, right? As a rule. I don't ever see the Tower as a bad thing. I always see the Tower as kind of an opportunity for something to fall apart that wasn't serving us or that was on a shaky foundation to begin with and was bound to fall apart regardless. Whether or not we were brave enough to dismantle it is up for question. Usually we're not brave enough. That's the reason why it's the Tower. It kind of unexpectedly falls out from underneath us. Now, some of us may not know that whatever it is that we lose in a Tower moment was faulty, right? What I mean by that is it might be something that we expected to be there for a really long time, and it's something that like just kind of crumbles apart right in front of our very eyes, and we're like, oh shit, what, how did I lose that? How did I not see that coming? It's kind of got that vibe to it, right? The rug being pulled out from under us a little bit. But ultimately what happens with these Tower moments is that they clear the way for new things that are better suited to us, more in line with who we really are, what it is that we really want. And so we need them to happen because we're unwilling to sort of take on the initiative to do it ourselves. Now, the ease, where I find ease in Tower moments, and this is my belief, you might hear other tarot readers say this, some might disagree with me, but I believe that what the Tower teaches us is how nothing is permanent, and also that how to sort of ease or lean into challenging scenarios. And that's how you lessen the blow of the Tower, is to just sort of be carried. When you always look at the Tower's depiction, it's somebody falling from, they can't help themselves. They have to fall. Gravity's just going to carry them. It's going to pull them in that direction. There's no fighting it. So the more you fight and struggle, the more miserable and harder it's going to be, or the more painful the landing is going to be when you land, If you relax and lean into it, and you're flexible and roll with it and just allow the lesson to come, the situation, person, or whatever to be removed, and understand that it's for your highest good, you will sort of not suffer as badly. I don't want you guys to be in fear of October, but Tower moments usually are significant and they usually are unexpected. So I will say that. So if some sort of a loss or shift takes place in October, don't be surprised. I would say my best judgment for you guys would be, and it doesn't mean, I will say this, I don't feel like you're going to lose everything that we see here and all the beauty that we see here, but I do feel like it is a shakeup, right? So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It does feel like we're riding on this fairly blissful vibe for the next 5 months, which is almost half the year, which is great. And then boom, Tower moment. But that's okay. Ultimately, like, Tower moments transform us. They get us to sort of more stable scenarios, even if we don't know that we need them. We just have to ease into it. Let's go to November and see what's going on with November. So November is the Knight of Cups. I love how he's on the back of the tortoise. Knight of Cups obviously is our Cancerian energy in the sense that it is water sign. So I feel like things get back to normal pretty quickly from this Tower moment, even if we're dealing with it with the moment within the month of October. By November, I feel like things have evened back out. The Knight of Cups can also be about falling back in love again. I feel like Knights sometimes can bring with them, a sense of all's right with the universe in a way. And so when we get to the Knight of Cups, I feel like it being cups and you're a water sign for you, it's a very loving, protective card. It's a very calm, cool card. I like the turtle is kind of carrying the cat. To me, I feel like the mayhem of this Tower, now we're like white and we're being carried by the turtle out of this messy situation that happens in October. But I don't feel like, I also get this distinct impression for any of you that might be dealing with love stuff during this block of months here, that, you know, you find maybe this love. I feel like this Knight of Cups showing up says to me that the love is not lost behind the Tower. Okay, so I don't want anybody to freak out and think like, oh, whatever I gain in between May and September is going to fall apart in October. It's not. I feel like something that you didn't maybe see coming, or that you expected, you didn't know that you needed to have changed, is going to shift on you, and it's going to shake you up, because you're going to be in this state of sort of feeling really good. But I think you'll get back to feeling good by November. This this Knight of Cups to me speaks to the tortoise is slow and steady and strong, right? He has his house right there on him. So I love that we're supported by someone else. We're being carried away from this situation in a very soft, kind, and loving way. And even if it's just us on our own, if Cancer is emulating this Knight of Cups energy, it's a very loving, nurturing, kind, protective, safe energy. So I feel like we will bounce back from this, whatever this loss is, or this potential loss with this Tower moment in October, really well in November. All right. And then December, let's see what's going on with December. Oh, beautiful. So we have the Three of Cups, which to me is all, you know, perfect water energy ending out in your home element of water. So it's going to feel quite comfortable in December. There's celebration, there's a little bit of abundance, there's family, there's reunion, there's coming together. I will say this, because I kind of got this hint when I was looking at that Two of Wands. I'm not sure, and this could be just a scenario, I'm just going to throw this scenario out there. If any of my Cancers meet somebody, like let's say around April, May, and you maybe get close in June, and you get even really more physically intense in July, if they depart in August, don't lose hope. That Two of Wands could be sort of maybe this significant other if they're far away. And this might only be for one specific Cancerian that watches this, or a few of you. But if there's somebody that goes far away come August, or you're departed from them, or like in separation from them in August, be patient and let it come back. It will all come back. I get a feeling that it could come back to you probably the Knight of Cups. So we're talking about what month is that? That's November. So I feel like you're still going to feel good in September. The Tower could be some sort of, you know, it definitely is some sort of like disruption in October. But then if you are in separation from your significant other, or the person you desire that you've maybe made a connection with, I feel like that Knight of Cups could be somebody coming in and coming back to you, right? And then this Three of Cups is about the reunion of that, and enjoying that reunion, enjoying their company again, and having them back in your space. For those of you that that's not about, then the Three of Cups is just about, you know, it's the holiday season again. We're at December. It's about coming together, enjoying things, feeling emotionally connected to people, feeling really well balanced, you know, beautiful emotional collaboration and appreciation going on. And it's a nice month to end out. I also like that the last 2 months of the year for you guys feels very much in line with you, them both being Cups energy, where we start out the year with a lot of air and fire, right? So to me, and it's not a bad thing to have opposing elements in our cards, but I feel like it's always can be a little bit more, what's the word, like, the learning curve can maybe be a little bit steeper in those months, where when you hit that Hermit, then it gets into Earth energy, and then you go into this Pentacles, which is complementary, Cups, which is, you know, our home element, back to Wands, but we're in an Ace, so that's really exciting. The Two is, you know, it's still Wands, but I feel like it's a beneficial card. Back to Pentacles, Tower, not so much. But I don't know. I just feel like the ending on the Two Cups cards for the year for you guys, hopefully by November, things will feel like they're lining back up, and you'll feel in sync with your world, your environment, even you know, joy and pleasure by December. All right, so that is your forecast, Cancerians. Thank you so much for tuning in, for those of you that watched. And for those of you that are watching later, please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. I would greatly appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. Like my Facebook business page and follow me. And please share this video with any Cancerians that might be able to use it, or anybody that you might like to see it. And let people know about my page, okay? And tomorrow I will be doing, hopefully, the next group of 4 signs, which will be Leo, Virgo, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank, Libra, and Scorpio. Scorpio. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.